Welcome to another edition of Influence, the global podcast that shines a spotlight on the influencer marketing industry. My name is Gordon Glenister. For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm a keynote speaker, trainer, and consultant in the sector, and more recently published author on influencer marketing strategy. Now, in this podcast series, you'll hear me interview all sorts of people from the world of influencer marketing. But before we start, please don't forget to subscribe to this podcast series just to make sure that you don't miss a future episode. Now, I'm super excited today because we've got a really amazing guest with us, no other than serial entrepreneur and founder of Warm Welcome, David J. And David is one of the top photojournalists in the world, has been featured in the top 100 tech and innovation influencers by Intercon, and also he's an international speaker. So today we're talking about community and human-to-human connection through the power of personalized video. And David talks about your network being your net worth. So hi David, it's lovely to meet you.
Sure. Yeah. So the quick backstory is 20 years ago, I dropped out of college. I became a photographer. And from that, started to build online communities, helping people understand how to start their business as a photographer, and loved doing all that, but hit all the typical scale problems of a service-based business, and so that kind of pulled me into software and technology. And so then I was, starting tech companies and building communities around those tech companies, and that's been the last 15 years of blood, sweat, and tears is doing startups.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just thinking over the last 12 months in the pandemic, we've seen often people talk about, we've advanced in our society digitally by about 10 years or so. Do you think technology has been a positive move to our society, or do you think there's been some drawbacks?
Well, I'd say both. Like most things, it's not binary. There's a lot of nuance in that question, but I think we're part of a big experiment with social media and whatnot, and I think we're just now seeing a lot of the negative side effects of that, and so I'm working on getting off of social media. I think it's better for my life and better for even for my business in a lot of ways. And so, a mentor of mine said, your network is your net worth.
I love that.
And
I love that. Say that again.
yeah, your network is your net worth.
That's great, isn't it? Yeah.
And Tim Sanders told me that. And it's really sat with me. And one of the problems with social media is that they own the network. They own your contacts. They own the conversation. They determine who's going to see your posts. They determine if you can post now. There's, a lot of problems happening, at least in the US, with censorship and things like that are affecting people's businesses. And if you own the network, if you can communicate directly with your customer, you're going to be better off. And so that's what we're trying to help people do.
Yeah, no, that's great. So you've got this, is it brand called Warm Welcome?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Warm Welcome was created to help people connect and communicate with their customers in a more warm, friendly, human way, right? Imagine if you walked into a store and there was no one there to greet you. There was no one there to answer any questions, and you walk around the store and you look at some products and you probably leave feeling like that was a really awkward experience, right? And that's the experience that everybody has on almost every single website.
Got
Like,
transactional.
yeah,
Yeah.
humans are gone. We've
Mhm.
replaced them with chat bots, which nobody wants. And we replaced them with like really pretty, perfect promotional videos that people don't really care about that much. They want a human, they want a person to talk to and to empathize with the problem that they have. And so that's what we're doing. Through our little video bubble, you can engage live with a customer, with a visitor on your website. You can communicate through sending videos back and forth. Lots of different ways where you can add that personal touch and build trust early on in that customer experience.
Yeah, and trust is absolutely everything, more so than almost ever now. It's certainly big in influencer marketing, isn't it? That's why we trust the opinions of others more than we do traditional advertising because we just see it as a being sold to. Whereas what we want to do is speak to a friend, colleague, or business acquaintance and then, what do you think of this company? What do you think of that product? It's that reaffirmation, isn't it? But of course, with
Yeah.
video, it's real, isn't it? It's not. You can't hide a testimonial on a website. You when you've got video, it's in your face, isn't it?
Yeah, video is really the only way you should ever put a testimonial on your website because it's too easy to fake text, right? Anyone can write up like, hey, Gordon was a great guy, like I trust him for everything, blah blah blah, and then sign some random person's name. And we've read so many of these testimonials that were like, did that person really say that? Where
Yeah.
a video, you can look in that person's eyes
Mm.
and you can determine for yourself whether or not they're being honest, genuine, whether they're telling the truth. And so, video testimonials is one of the things that people use warm welcome for the most because it's a great way to capture, somebody giving their honest testimonial of what it was like to work with you.
And do you think we're just talking going back to technology, the discussion? Is there I know for younger people, they've become digital natives. They video
Yeah.
and social media is like ingrained into their soul, isn't it? Whereas an older demographic who does have the issue that you related to, is crying out to speak to a human and finds it
Mhm.
very frustrating. To interact with some of these websites and stuff. And sometimes I look at a website and if it hasn't got a phone number on it,
Mhm.
I almost don't want to deal with them because there's no way of, it's a contact form and you don't know if anybody's going to come back to you. And yeah, you're right. A bot is just feels sort of faceless, doesn't it? But is that
Yeah.
because I'm saying that from an older guy, whereas younger people are so used to those automation and sort of don't want to speak to people. I mean, there is an age gap difference here, isn't there? Where I know I read a piece of research from I think it was Forrester or somewhere that self-serve platforms are now rising at such an extent,
Mm.
particularly amongst the sort of millennials and Gen Zs, because that's what they've been used to.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't ever recommend forcing somebody into a phone call or a video call or anything like that because I do think both generational as well as personality type.
Cool,
Like
absolutely, yeah, definitely, yeah.
myself as an introvert, I hate phone calls and I'm a visual person. And so I would choose a video call over a phone call every day of the week. And if I'm selling a product, like let's say I'm trying to sell a phone, and I have a website and there's all these pretty pictures of this phone on there. Um, you come to the website and you have a question about the phone. Are you going to call me and I'm going to try to explain what it's like to hold this phone? That's pretty difficult.
Mm.
Where if we can just pop open an instant video chat, and now we're on live video just like this, like a Zoom call, and I can show you the buttons, I can click the buttons, I can scroll, I can show you how the phone works. I can communicate so much more, so much better through video than I can through a phone call.
You're right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the one good thing that the pandemic has created is embracing stuff like Zoom and Teams. And
Mm.
now I begin to, and although I love face to face, unlike you, I'm an extrovert, so I
Yeah.
enjoy the company of people. I need the company of people. But I have felt that I've been super efficient on Zoom. I've been able
Mhm.
to still build up amazing relationships all over the world through this connection. So I can hear what you're saying. It's the opportunity because I was with my son yesterday. We were looking at something up in the studio, and he was we didn't know the answer to something. So what do? We YouTube it.
Mhm.
Now a lot of my older generation wouldn't necessarily done that. They thought, oh dear, how do I solve this problem? And and now it's almost like we've started to realize that there's an answer to everything we want in the world. Somebody has done a video on it, or um,
Right.
but I love this real time stuff that you've been talking
Mhm.
about now, because I think it builds up that sort of personality with the brand, doesn't it?
Yeah, as influencers, which you're the expert in this, like they're built on building up their personal brand, and
They
so
are.
for them to offer that sort of personal connection, through their website, do it in a way that's scalable. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's the trick for them, scaling the unscalable, right? They're one person, or even a brand as a person. They
Yeah.
need to be able to do that in a way that is efficient.
Yeah, well, Alibaba and Amazon last year were putting out advertising messages for like 100,000 influencers, because what they realized is they wanted them to be doing live stream broadcast on
There it
the.
is.
So,
Yeah.
you've sort of answered the question for me, knowing, and in China, I mean, they're absolutely killing it with live stream. These people are big because they're able to bring the products to life in a way that they perhaps
Mm.
can't do in a
Mm.
traditional Instagram post, or um, but yeah, their whole personality is driven by video, isn't it? Which is amazing. Um,
Yeah.
so where have you seen some of the trends with your platform? Where have you seen it? What sort of things have you noticed since you launched it and to now? What are the things that are coming out? What are people doing on them? I mean, is it just technical, or is it what's happening?
Yeah. Well, the simplest thing is they're just adding a little video bubble to their website. And this is the idea of warm welcome, is it's a greeting. And the
Okay.
idea actually came from a company called Young Life, where they do summer camps for kids. And when the kids get off the bus to come to summer camp, the whole staff is there clapping for them, saying, "Welcome to camp. It's going to be the best day of your life, or the best week of your life." And an Apple exec went to one of these camps, saw this warm welcome, and said, "We're implementing that in every one of our stores."
Wow.
And that's why there is a greeter at the front door of every Apple store. And on your website, like that's where most sales are happening nowadays, but we're doing it so poorly.
Mm.
And so the web traditionally has been a great place to buy things, but a terrible place to sell things. And now we're making it a much better place to sell something, because you can have that connection.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know when somebody lands on my website, I get a push notification from Warm Welcome that says somebody's on the website. When someone clicks on the little bubble, boom, I get a push notification. I can click and have a live chat like this in 1 second with them.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell me about the numbers then. How many people? When did you launch? When did you launch the site?
We're really new from like a version 1 perspective.
Oh,
We
okay.
built a beta back in 2019, and then we were working on another project when the pandemic hit. And of course, when the pandemic hit, everyone was like, "We need video. How do we sell online?" And so we're like, "Hey, we can do that." and
So what
so
happened then? Tell me about the numbers.
yeah, so then we decided to kind of finish the build out process, over the, Q2 and Q3. And then we did kind of a proof of concept launch at the beginning of this year. And we've got, I don't know, 5,000 paying users over the last few months.
It's,
So,
it's amazing.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, so still very new, but it's a new idea. People are, they're rapidly looking for it and moving towards this type of technology. But I think our biggest hurdle is just getting awareness and exposure, and like, hey, this is a new way of interacting with your customers. You don't have to do it through a chat bot, which your customers hate, by the way. You can
Yeah.
actually do it as a human. You can put yourself right there in your website.
I should have one on my site, shouldn't I? I
Oh,
should
absolutely.
we should have a chat after this, and I should have a video pop up in mine. That sounds really cool. So what sort of final words, tips of advice would you give to sort of wannabe entrepreneurs? You're very engaging in what you've done. You're a driven person. What sort of things have you learned along the way?
Well, my biggest advice is always just to get started. There's so much fear in taking that first step that your first step doesn't have to be fully planned out. You don't have to figure everything out before you get going. So do one thing every day that moves you closer to where you want to go. And that could be as simple as taking all your contacts, everybody that you know, because again, your network is your net worth.
Hmm.
Take all of those, find out which of those people have some knowledge in the industry that you want to grow in. If you want to be an influencer, hey, make sure Gordon's at the top of that list, right? And then the next day, send those people a message, send them a video message.
Hmm.
Self-promoting here, but send them a warm welcome, send them a video email with warm welcome and say, hey, I've been following along on your journey. Would you mind answering this one question for me? And they can send you a video back, right? So do one thing every single day that moves you in that direction. And pretty soon you'll be doing what you love doing. Don't feel like you need a business plan or you've got to go and do all this legal stuff. Just get going.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just do it. Hashtag just do it. That's what we should be
Yeah.
saying, isn't it? So how can people find out more about you?
Well, I mean, I'd love if they just send me a message and we can chat. Like, let's do it personally. They can, of course, go to warmwelcome.com and research, me there. Go to davidj.com and I've got a little video bubble on my website. They can click on that and send me a video and we can chat there. Yeah, I mean, I'm currently on all the networks, but I'm working on having people contact me directly. That way we can just have a chat and I don't have to rely on Facebook's algorithm or LinkedIn's algorithm. And, if we're going to see each other's posts or be able to talk to each other in a year based on our opinion on this or our opinion on that, like that's a bunch of BS to me. Like we should just be humans and be able to talk to one another.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, it's great. Well done on your achievements. It's been awesome to see such success, and I love the video chat. So anyway, thank you, David J, for being a guest on my show today.
Thanks, Gordon. It's great to meet you.
That's it for another edition of Influence. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and give me your feedback. Gordon@gordonglenister.com, or you can follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, where you can also ask me a question. And if you're able to give us a 5-star review, we really do appreciate that. If you want any help in creating an influencer marketing strategy, or you want to join the Influencer Marketing Roundtable weekly event, please head over to my website, www.gordonglenister.com. Thanks as always to my producer, Neil Whiteside from Freedom One. And until next time, from me, Gordon Glenister, it's bye for now.
We're Warm Welcome, and we're helping businesses build better relationships that help drive real revenue. Here's how it works. Instead of cold, boring text that's open for interpretation, Warm Welcome helps you share warm and engaging video messages that help create trust and move things forward. And we're not just replacing boring text emails, we're helping you build better relationships across the entire customer experience. Personalize every email with a video signature. Greet every website visitor with an inviting video bubble. Grow the relationship and answer customer questions with personal video emails. Collect client testimonials and share content with video pages. And even share your video business card with everyone that you meet. And if you answer the same questions over and over, you can add any pre-recorded video to any message with our video playlist. No matter what you choose to improve with personal video, we keep it wonderfully simple. In the end, all these features are simply tools that help you build better relationships that drive real revenue.